Hello traders, and welcome to the NinjaTrader Indicator Warehouse. Today we're looking at the Universal Channel Bands Indicator. This is an extremely flexible indicator that allows you to tweak the settings to fit your particular style. You can choose from 12 different moving average types for the midline, and you can choose either average true range, standard deviations, or some number of ticks from the midline as your upper and lower bands. You can also set alerts when price hits the upper band, midline, or lower band. So we like channel band indicators because they indicate both trend and volatility. The Universal Channel Bands indicator provides the flexibility to identify numerous market opportunities depending upon how you configure it. So let's take a look at this now. Okay, so here we have the Universal Channel Bands indicator. What you're looking at right here, you have this green line right here. This is your midline. This is some moving average type with some period associated with it. In this particular case, I think this is a 20-period exponential moving average, as you can see here. Now, above and below it, we have the upper band and the lower band. So the upper band and lower band are calculated either as some standard deviation from this midline. So if you're a Bollinger Band person, you'd be using standard deviations, or if you're a Keltner person, you'd be using average true range to define this. Now, with this particular indicator, we also give you the ability to put some constant number of ticks above and below the midline there. And really what this is showing here, so the greater the space is between the midline and the upper and lower bands, what that's reflecting is a higher degree of price volatility. And this is pricing volatility with respect to or in relation to what that volatility was in the past. So this is greater than what it was in the past. That's why you'll see these kind of coming together and then going apart and then coming together again. So when you look for situations where the bands are closer together, that means there's low market, low price volatility, and you're anticipating some breakout from this point. Now, I'm going to show you in the next step here how to set this all up in the parameters box, and then a little bit later I'll show you a particular trade that you can utilize that leverages both the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner Bands. So let's take a look at the parameters box first, and then we'll get into that trade in a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at how to set this up in the parameters box now. So I'm going to right-click on my charts, look for indicators. Then I'm going to left-click on indicators. Let me bring this box in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down until I can find the Indicator Warehouse Universal Channel Bands indicator. And you can see we already have this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and let's go through some of the different parameters. So here we have the email. So as I mentioned before, you can set an email alert when price touches the upper band, lower band, or the midline. We also have our Kaufman parameters here, if you happen to use that moving average. We have a couple of other parameters here. So let's take a look at this parameters box right here. So the first thing I want to look at is the band distance basis. So this is what I mentioned earlier. You can have this set up as either constant ticks, average true range, average range, or standard deviation. You can set your ATR period if that's what you're using. And then you can also choose from a variety of different moving average types. So here you can see your complete list of different moving average types. So here I'm going to stick with the exponential moving average. I'm going to keep a 20 period. And then we also have a multiplier, which is used when the ATR multiple or average range. And we also have offset here. This is designed to use with constant ticks. So in addition to emails, we also have pop-ups. So you can set pop-ups to come on your screen when price touches lower line, midline, or the upper line. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we have Audible Alerts. So I can also set Audible Alerts whenever price touches one of those lines. So if I'm not at my desk or I'm not paying attention, I can wait to hear that alert, and then I know I can pay attention and I've got something worth taking a look at. And then down below here we have our section with the line. So I can configure the line strength, the line color, whether it's a dotted line. I can change colors if it's going up or down. So there's a lot of flexibility here in how you visually want to see this indicator on your screen. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to scroll back up here. We had it set the standard deviation. I'm going to change this to the ATR. Okay, and that's the only change I'm going to make right now. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my changes, click OK, and you can see that everything changes. So right now this is a smoother curve. It's not as up and down as the standard deviation that we showed before. So as I mentioned, there's the Bollinger Bands, which leverage the standard deviations, and then there's the Keltner Bands, which is more along the lines of what you're looking at right here, which leverages average true range. Now, in the next part, I'm going to talk a little bit about a particular trade that you can do, strategy, that leverages both the Keltner Bands and the Bollinger Bands. So let's actually take a look at that now. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk a little bit about a particular trade that's called the squeeze play. So the squeeze play actually leverages two different indicators, the Keltner Bands and the Bollinger Bands. So right now we're looking at the Keltner Bands. I'm going to right-click on my charts, go to Indicators, and this is going to require us to actually put a second universal channel band on here. So I'm going to put my second one here. And I'm going to make a couple of changes here. I'm going to change the ATR to standard deviation, and I'm going to make sure my lines look a little bit different. Actually, in this case, they are different, but I'm going to change the midline to a dotted line here, okay, or a dashed line. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to apply my changes, and let's take a look. Okay. So here we have the blue bands. These are your Bollinger Bands, essentially. And then the red lines indicate the Keltner Bands. And again, as I mentioned, when they're further apart, that indicates that there's high price volatility. And when they come together, that means that there's low price volatility. And typically when that happens, you're looking for some breakout in that situation. So you expect price volatility to go higher, especially in comparison to the historical performance of whatever that you're looking at. So the key to this particular trade is right here. So we have the bands kind of coming in, and again, I guess the question is how close do they have to be? Well, this really helps you in that situation because you're looking for the Keltner Bands to kind of come together like this, and the Bollinger Bands to come down and in. So when the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner Bands, that's a very strong indication that you're about to have some strong breakout and some strong trend. So that's exactly what happens in this situation. So we've got bands within bands and then a breakout situation here. So this is the squeeze play. So as you can see, this is an easy to use yet powerful indicator. You can tweak the settings to suit your particular trading style, and every modification you make can help you identify different market opportunities. Experienced as well as novice traders can benefit from the flexibility this indicator offers. And remember, whether you're day trading the E-mini S&P, other futures contracts, or Forex, Indicator Warehouse will help you get more profit from your online trading and technical analysis efforts. Thank you for joining us.